Hi, I'm a 39 years old occupational therapist. In 2010, I was contaminated by toxic mold in the hospital where I was working, while I had just made an accelerated transition to PhD in biomedical sciences and was a teaching assistant at the University of Montreal. After repeated multiple infections and multisystemic problems, I had a diagnosis of multiple chemical sensitivity and myalgic encephalomyelitis, a multisystemic disease with many metabolic deficiencies, various symptoms, resulting in a state of total or partial disability. A disease more distressing and debilitating than most other health disorders, including AIDS and the side effects of chemotherapy, except a few weeks before death. This is confirmed by the Canadian consensus, expert physicians, and the literature. 9 years later, after some 20 assessments and nearly $100,000 in health and medical legal expenses, I am still fighting against CNESST to recognize the consequences of this terrible disease, despite the fact that they have no witness, no evidence, and by their own admission, no strategy against my 4 recognized expert witnesses in the field, and a cardiopulmonary exercise testing on 2 consecutive days, which is the golden standard in the scientific literature. How is it that physicians and health professionals in Quebec and in Canada are not aware of this disabling disease, despite the fact that there are several guidelines and international consensus and a Canadian consensus approved by the Quebec Physicians College? In Quebec, professionals who know my disease are counted on one hand. But there is worse. Treatments are prescribed, which in the medical literature are known to harm these patients. And this is happening in Quebec, in Canada, not in a third world country. How is it that myalgic encephalomyelitis is not part of the university curriculum of health professionals? Do you know how many patients with myalgic encephalomyelitis die from inadequate treatments and care, or commit suicide because they no longer have the energy or the means to survive? The suicide rate among these patients is 6 times higher than in the general population. It is urgent that our governments open their eyes and act to do justice to these nearly 600,000 forgotten by society in Canada. I refer you to the Million Missing site in Canada and the Quebec Association for Myalgic Encephalomyelitis for more details on the disease. Thank you.